In this grade 12 geography video, we are looking at the September preparatory paper 2 exam scope. We have already covered our paper 1 exam scope, so if you haven't written your paper 1 just yet, go make sure that you start with that video, then you can proceed to this one. But if you're done with your paper 1 and you are getting ready for your paper 2 preliminary exam, this is the video for you. In it, we are going to be looking at all the topics that fall under your paper 2 and what to cover under each of them. The first topic under your paper 2 scope is going to be rural and urban settlements. With rural and urban settlements, it is divided into 3 sections that you need to make sure that you cover in full before you can say that you are ready for this topic. So the first portion of it is the study of the settlement. So this is the basic information that relates to the settlement. So you will start with the definition. So that is defining what is site, settlement, as well as situation. Then from there you will get into the classifications. So the way settlements are, they are classified according to functions. They are classified according to size and complexity, as well as the classification according to patterns. So these are the 3 things that you need to make sure that you are comfortable with in terms of classifying. So with this portion of the rural settlements is basically just the basic info of the settlements. Then we get to the rural settlements issues. So in the rural settlements issues, we are basically now focusing in the rural settlements, and under it you need to make sure that you are comfortable with the reasons for location to rural settlements. Then you will look into the identifications and the shapes of rural settlements. Then we get into the rural urban migration. So that is the movement from rural areas to the urbans. So because of that, we have the push and the pull factors. So you're going to make sure that you study and be comfortable with your push and pull factors. Then from there we look at the rural depopulation definition, the causes, as well as the consequences. So under rural depopulation, rather, you have those 3 things. Then you will end off everything with the strategies to address the migration, or rather the rural depopulation. So rural depopulation is basically the rural to urban migration. So how do we avoid it, in a sense? Then the topic ends off now with the urban settlement. So we were just looking at the rural settlement issues. Now we are getting into the urban settlement issues, which you will have to start with defining concepts. So there are a lot of concepts that fall under the urban settlements, for example urbanization. So make sure that you are able and comfortable with those definitions. Then with urban settlements, just like we did with rural settlements, we are also going to look at the reasons for the location of urban settlements. From there we have types of urban settlements. Then we move to the structure of the urban area. Then we look at the urban settlements problems, meaning that the problems that occur in urban settlements. Then from there we look at the trade and transport towns, and then we are going to end off with specialized towns and cities. The second topic in your scope is the economic geography of South Africa. With the economic geography, we are basically looking at the different activities within the economic sector. So the economic sector of South Africa, in geographical locations, we have locations that specialize in the primary activities. So with primary activities, we are going to be looking at the most common primary activities within South Africa, since the topic itself is the focus of economic geography in South Africa. So that's why we're looking at farming as well as mining. So when you think of primary activities, you already know that we have a lot more that goes into the primary activities, like deforestation as well as fishing, for example. But those are not very common in South Africa. We are not known for fishing, but we are known for farming as well as mining in South Africa. So those are the primary activities that you are going to focus on. Then we move on to the secondary activities in South Africa. In the secondary activities, we are basically looking at manufacturing. So with manufacturing, you're going to look at industrial development. So we are looking at the different industries where products are being manufactured, that is a secondary activity. Then we go to the tertiary activities. With the tertiary activities, we are going to be looking at the informal sector. So we're going to look at what are the things that fall under the informal sector, be able to talk about or to discuss rather these different types of activities. Then from there we are going to have the quaternary economic activities that you're going to also look into, and then you're going to end everything off with the interpretation and the understanding of graphs and tables. The last topic on your paper 2 scope is going to be Mapwork, which generally tests your Mapwork skills. So this is more than likely going to be your question 3. By the way, your question paper once again will be divided into 3 questions. So the first topic, which was rural and urban settlements, is going to be your question 1, and then in question 2 you're going to have the economic geography of South Africa. Hence, question 3 is going to be this topic of Mapwork, which tests your Mapwork skills. Starting with map interpretation and calculations. With map interpretation, we are basically looking at your ability to read and understand a map. So are you able to read a map? That's what map interpretation is. And together with that ability to read and understand a map, we have calculations that fall within Mapwork skills, and that is the calculation of your distance, calculation of area, as well as calculation of gradient. In addition to those calculations, there's a lot more calculations that you also need to make sure that you are comfortable with, and that is the calculation of the true and magnetic bearing, the magnetic declination, as well as the calculation of position. So you need to be able to calculate a position of a location in your map, so make sure that you are comfortable with those calculations. And then we are also looking at map sheet references. Can you give map sheet references properly? So make sure that you are practicing that. So this topic is one topic that is going to require practical practice, so you will need to make sure that you practice your Mapwork interpretation as well as your calculations. And then we look at the vertical exaggeration, and we will end off with the geographical information system.
Have YouTube recommend you more of my videos, be sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below.